Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth, and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And I will say, I was actually thrown for a curve when talking to you guys off the air. I'm officially done with Daredevil Born Again. They lost me. And
I headstrong.
I didn't realize this was actually the season finale. I thought there were still four more episodes to go.
You just didn't know it. You're done.
I'm like, okay. Yeah, don't lose your head over this. So we're going to talk about that, but maybe there's going to be other things, folks. It's going to be another one of those organic shows, but why not start off with something more positive? And Allan, some new trailers are dropping for the Fantastic Four, and even though this is a Marvel movie, I'm open to giving it a shot. And I hate to say it that way, but Marvel hasn't bowled me over lately. But I kind of like what I'm seeing with the Fantastic Four.
Well,
I don't know about the casting,
it's a different
but
look.
Yeah,
it's a different look. The wonderful thing about casting is you don't know until you see how the chemistry plays out.
What's the guy from John Krasinski? Okay,
what about John Krasinski?
Well, no. What I was going to say is I can accept Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards more than John Krasinski. He did not at all convey that for me. I mean, I like him as an actor too. He's a good dude, but
it's another Marvel instance.
I'm going to put that squarely at the feet of the director, because I think Krasinski could pull off an amazing Reed Richards, but he was Illuminati Reed Richards as written by Sam Raimi,
and they gave him nothing to work with. So,
they gave.
Yeah,
because I remember people saying that they had like this fan thing in their mind where they wanted to see John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Well, he's a great actor. But it didn't bowl me over with this. But but Pedro Pascal, he may or may not deliver. But I like the tone of what we're seeing here. It's like an alternate past.
Yeah.
1960s something, right? I mean, it's
almost
like the Jetsons in some ways.
Right. It's a world that never got past the I don't know exactly what era I want to say, because there's so much different mix in there, but it's definitely one of those where technology went a different skew than what we have on the Marvel 616 universe.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, I just got to give them all sorts of props for keeping New York City clean.
It looks like it's gonna be fun. Well, in the Fantastic Four comics back then, it was pretty.
And
clean.
you gotta love the just the full setup with. I mean, the kids, talking about the Fantastic Four. I mean, they're established. The world loves them, and we are basically going to get to see what happens when the big crisis hits them. We don't get the build up like we have with other Marvel films. We are jumping right into it. But there's something about it that just screams hope. It may be the bright colors. It may be the very family friendly tone of everything. Where you, like I said, you've got the kids who they're not making fun of Ben Grimm. They want to watch him lift that car.
There you go.
They cheer him on the whole time.
Yeah, it's not all cynical.
It's not that horrible. And nothing against Michael Chiklis. He did an amazing job with what he was given. But it's not the mopey thing that we had in the Fox Fantastic Four movies. And don't even get me started about Fan Four Stick. That movie was bad.
It's interesting that the idea of like a movie that has sort of an unpolished 60s aesthetic, that's Marvel, doing well, because, Joe, the last thing that you really enjoyed that had that similar aesthetic was WandaVision.
Oh, yeah. They had several aesthetics. But
he makes a great point there.
I never connected those two, but yeah, because they were sort of like supposed to be period accurate, like an 80s sitcom or the Dick Van Dyke Show sitcom or something like that. So I don't know. I've heard people that they didn't like WandaVision. I don't know. I mean, I liked it. Maybe because everybody saw Agatha Harkness coming all along, but I'm like, so what? It's not the biggest spoiler in the world.
It's not really that. It's not even an important spoiler. Because in the long run, you find out that Agatha just took advantage of Wanda's spell.
Yeah.
Wanda was, she was the villain all along there. That's why when you watch Agatha and they bring Wanda up, people immediately, just they're traumatized by what they went through.
So I hate to look at Allan on this question, but now, okay, I forgot to. This is July, right? The release date for the Fantastic Four, isn't it? Isn't it in this? It's in the summer.
It's supposed to be the summer blockbuster.
Okay, because we for years have seen the summer blockbuster phenomenon sort of dwindle and maybe not even be as much of a factor. But maybe is this going to get people into theaters? That's the question.
Well, I mean, if Minecraft can, God, I hope this can.
Well, I was about to say, I don't know. Does it have a chicken jockey? We got
brother.
apparently
Okay.
that got people into
his
the
name's
theaters,
Herbie.
man.
His name is Herbie.
Oh, the robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. Does a kid zombie ride him around and beat up Jason Momoa in this movie? Or
no, but he makes a really good sauce apparently.
Apparently he can cook.
That's why you're going to be there.
That.
Well, you're going to watch it, right, Allan? Even you will go. Well, maybe you will. I don't know. Are you going to go to the theater?
No.
Why is this such a hard question?
Probably not.
Okay.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I thought you liked Ben Grimm as a character.
I do, Ben. That is why I'm having an ambivalence about whether or not I'm going to go, because normally the answer is no. I do love Ben Grimm. I think he is probably the most realistic superhero character because he is kind of a freak.
Yeah.
And he's got Ben Grimm actually wrestles with and deals with actual real world problems. I know Spider-Man's broke, but I know a lot of broke people. Everybody's got issues, but Grimm is kind of the one that just, his insides became his outsides, so literally his heart is on his sleeve.
See, it's funny you say that because my immediate reaction when you said that is that this Ben Grimm personifies Jack Kirby's inner landscape and even maybe his anxieties and everything. I feel like Jack Kirby's fingerprints are all over this when it comes to his personality. So, all right, well, we're going to continue this when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. A dozen Ewoks clubbing the microphones would still sound better than this. The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we're talking about, I feel like it's going to be a superhero-heavy conversation. Well, one of the movies that's on the horizon coming out is the new Fantastic Four movie. And I don't know, I'm intrigued. I like the notion that it looks fun. And it doesn't look like it's taking itself super serious, which is maybe a good thing. And also, but it's giving me the same vibe I got when I saw the latest trailer for the new Superman film, which almost looked like a live action version of the old Justice League cartoon where, I don't know, it's keeping elements of the fun and whimsy, but it's still, like, it's not going for gritty street level reality, which I'm kind of ready to look beyond that now. We've had enough of that.
Right.
So.
And before we get, the Fantastic Four, we've got Thunderbolts coming up in just a few short weeks. And that looks like it might be the beginning of the tonal shift for Marvel in general. I think someone realized, okay, the last phase has been nothing but depressing.
Yeah.
And as much as we want to try and inject superheroism and coming together and being a team, it hasn't worked. There's so much division in Brave New World, which I'm going to go ahead and say I'm glad I didn't see it in theaters, but I actually really like that movie. And I think every so often you need a new Captain America movie that does tie up all the plot holes that Marvel just leaves dangling out there. And I think they did a really good job with it. But again, I don't know if I'm going to the theaters to see Fantastic Four or Thunderbolts. I'm going to see Superman, but that's because it's friggin' Superman.
But it looks cool. I mean, it looks fun.
Right. It does. And I think that's what we need to get people back into the theaters, because we have gone so far into we don't care about what's actually on the screen. We're going to troll it for whatever it's worth. So giving me something that's whimsical and fun and just enjoyable, because, again, you can say everybody's just going to see the chicken jockey. No, it's because it's just stupid fun. That's why people go to see Minecraft.
Well, it's a vibe.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a vibe. It's a serious vibe.
What is it the kids say these days? It's a mood.
It's a mood. It's a mood. And okay, so
I feel old saying that.
all right, so chicken jockeys and Minecraft and all that. All right, harmless fun, if you call it that.
Well, unless you're one of those people who's going and trashing a theater every time it happens.
Well,
at
all
which
right,
point
well,
you're a jerk and you should stay home and never come out of your basement.
Hey, all right, throwing a little popcorn, I get, but don't be flinging stuff at the screen. Those things are expensive. All right, so Fantastic Four, it's got a vibe,
Yeah.
which is more than I can say for a lot of movies for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I tell you who is putting out Vibe City. I haven't seen it yet. I will see it. But I mean Vibe City. Sinners.
Oh, no, that's not a vibe. That's a full-on whoa.
Now, when is that coming out? Because
It
I
just
just went
did.
to the movies.
It came out this weekend.
It
Okay,
just
and
did.
the entire floor was
Wow.
covered with giant banners and just like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Or
Oh
something.
my
So
gosh! I've from what I've
don't
seen
give me any
of it,
spoilers. I don't want to know.
it's a
anything.
vampire
It's a-
flick,
it-
dude.
yeah,
it's a vampire flick, but
look,
it is heads up.
It's
Harlem
different, too.
Nights meets every bad gangster movie.
All right, it is From Dusk Till Dawn by way of Harlem Nights.
Yes,
And Michael B. Jordan plays twins, and you would never believe that is the same person portraying both of those characters, because those characters come to life, and they are so different.
Interesting.
Smoke and Stack, and they are Michael B. Jordan is just phenomenal. Let's just go ahead and put it that way.
Oh, he's one of those guys. Every time he says anything, you're listening.
You're listening.
Watching.
You're glued to it.
Right.
You want to see what he does next.
Right.
And it's like the first thing I remember seeing him in. He was a football player who saved his sister from a gang member in an episode of Burn Notice.
Really?
And I've enjoyed his career ever since.
Yeah.
well, you also got to have a director
And Ryan
that
Coogler,
gets the mood. All right, so the Minecraft director obviously just leaned into what he had. The Fantastic Four, from what we've seen of it so far, is enjoying that hardcore Panavision 60s look. I expect to see Buena Vista and Technicolor go across the screen at any moment. Sinners, wow. Talk about really leaning into the aesthetics.
Yeah.
You talk about from the costuming to the backgrounds, the lighting, everything is totally on target. And
It's funny you say that, though. I didn't know that was a vampire movie by the trailer.
the point
I thought it,
exactly,
which is great,
Yeah.
but thanks for ruining it for me now. So
Well, they've
But-
already given it away. I mean,
I didn't know that at all. I didn't know what it was about. I thought it was
and they on purposely didn't give that away until people went to see it.
Okay.
But there were a number of people going, "Why aren't we talking about a new vampire flick?" There were a lot of pundits out there going,
Yeah.
"Nobody's talking about this thing like it's a vampire movie."
well,
And it's kind of like, well, it's a little more than a vampire movie. There's a lot going on here. It just happens to, have a few undead people loose in it.
is this
So I'm digging the fact that we got vibes back. We got Avatar 3 coming up.
Fire
Which-
and Ash.
Oh,
and-
whoop-de-doo.
No, Fire and Ash looks
All right,
amazing.
dude, you
I
can
didn't even
dislike the
finish the
little
last
kitty
one.
people
I was
all
so
you
bored.
want.
yeah.
It's going to make more money than goodness. It's going to be huge. Everybody loves the kitties but you.
I just
That's
was
all I
so
can
tired
say.
of that movie. I didn't.
I
yeah.
know. It's not your vibe, but I'm telling you, Avatar 3 is going to bring, and Brandon, I'm sorry for this next phrase. It's a pun and I don't mean it, but it's bringing the heat.
Bringing the heat. Okay.
It is.
Damn it, Allan.
It is. It is. No, there's no other words for it, is there?
No, there's really not, and I hate admitting that.
I don't know, man. Okay. Well, so in other words, there's some positive things on the horizon. And even as far as the Fantastic Four movie goes, I feel like they're setting the right expectations. They're not setting this up as, hey, this is the launch of the next phase or any of this. They're just saying this is a Fantastic Four movie and
For all
take it
intents
or
and
leave it,
purposes,
basically.
it could be standalone.
Yeah, I hope it is. All right, we're going to come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Wait, are you saying there's a final fight full of CGI where the hero fights a bad guy who has similar powers? Yeah, I guess so. Now that is a Marvel third act. I love it.
Okay, that's on point. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we're talking about, actually we're being very positive about some of the newest Marvel offerings, about this upcoming movie Sinners. Well, I shouldn't say upcoming, it just released this weekend. We're going to be, and Allan ruined it for me already by telling me it's a vampire movie, which I didn't know, Allan. I don't want to know anymore, please. But you guys used important words that I thought, Brandon, you used
Joe,
the word.
It's got twins in it.
You used the word, and I didn't know that either. I just thought it looked like a gritty movie, and if it's Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler, I'm going to want to see it. But
Yeah,
okay,
you're going to want to see it.
Brandon, you used the words tonal shift, and Allan's used the words vibes, and I do see a little bit of a tonal shift with some of the Marvel stuff. Although Daredevil, I'm kind of done with it. I think, I hate to say it.
Yeah,
they lost me on that last episode,
and I get that. You know,
But
it's not for everybody. But let's be honest, I didn't like seasons 2 or 3 of the Netflix series.
see, I liked the third one. I didn't like the second.
I like the guy they've got playing Bullseye, but I hate the new origin for Bullseye.
Okay, so but you talked about the words vibes. I think I know what you mean, but you said that's one of the reasons that the Minecraft movie's doing so good. We're not going in there expecting epic storytelling. We're just getting a vibe.
You are not there to see an Oscar-winning performance.
Right.
You are there to watch people in that movie eat and chew scenery like there's nobody left. You know they're all running around in front of a green screen doing the best they can with what they got, and just, you know, and due to the success of the movie, apparently making the movie, they were getting into it.
And wouldn't you say people with the energy of Jack Black and Jason Momoa would feed off each other and probably accelerate whatever?
Hey, you know, if they're having,
if they're having fun, that comes across on this.
You know, even if it's a hard scene, people that are really into the story or just having the time of their lives are truly delivering the product.
Right.
You know, there have been any number of animated fare that delivered the goods. And I'm going to pick on How to Train Your Dragon, because that was an animated, and that just, I mean, there wasn't a big build-up to it. Just suddenly everybody went, I want a dragon.
Huh.
And,
I didn't see that one.
And goofy names. You know, the character's name's Hiccup.
And his dragon's name is Toothless.
And his dad's name is, well,
Stoic. Come on, you can't do it without saying it like that, Allan. You got to get full on. If I could do a really good Viking accent, I would totally do it.
So, you know, now we got a live action version of it, and you know, it's really it really is kicking like it's okay, it's a good movie. From what I've seen of it, but I liked How to Train Your Dragon.
Right.
So I'm already predisposed. Live action Lilo and Stitch. I have unabashedly been a Stitch fan since day one. Because
I wasn't interested until you told me the premise of that. Now it sounds kind of interesting. Like
the fact that
I thought it was just some little animal.
It is.
Have you never seen
Yeah,
Lilo
but you
and
said
Stitch?
it's an alien.
He is.
Oh,
That's-
it's an
that's
alien
what-
designed to destroy your
he's an
planet.
alien
Yeah, that
experiment.
sounds cool.
He is
So it's like-
experiment 626. There are 625 before him. There's an entire cartoon series where he has to help hunt down his
Predecessors.
his wayward brothers and sisters.
That's cool. I mean, you would
yeah,
never
dude.
guess by the poster. I would have never imagined that.
It's like, you know, you got to watch the movie to learn that. And of course, we've all seen the various Disney movies, Lilo and Stitch, Lilo and Stitch 2, Leroy and Stitch. I mean, it's just Stitch has a glitch. There's so many fun, just goofy alien experiment movies.
My favorite part of the original, that is, as they've made a big point of saying we kept this in the live action, was watching Stitch discover he cannot fulfill his purpose.
Okay.
There are no major cities. He can't swim. He has no spaceship. He cannot fulfill his I'm here to destroy the planet. He is trapped on an island surrounded by water.
That sounds very existential, man. That sounds like it could be very thought-provoking.
But then they get into the Hawaiian philosophy of Ohana, and he has to, you're watching all of this go through an alien. He is designed to cause absolute, utter, and complete chaos, but now he can't. And he winds up with a little girl that's just as big as mess as he is.
And he tries. Even once he finds his family on Earth, he still tries.
This sounds pretty fun, man. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, see, there you go.
But there's
an unexpected.
There's a cool vibe that film has to have, or it's going to fall flat.
Yeah. Speaking of vibes, I just want to say real quick, I love the Matt Reeves Batman. I love a lot of the Batman we've seen, but I think what I'm ready for is Batman treated a Batman film treated as maybe a fantasy film, maybe a little bit more. Maybe he's more of a mythical figure, or maybe like conveyed in more symbolic ways, or something.
Or that Elseworld scenario where it's called Holy Terror.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
there's something where it's just we're getting a little bit of a different vibe, and maybe finally make a black and white Batman movie or something. But they haven't gone down that road with Batman recently.
Well, I'm curious where they're going to go with Superman right now, because
Superman.
I'm looking at Brandon going, Brandon's all kind of excited. And I'll be honest, Superman to me is without a doubt the single most boring superhero ever designed.
That scene in the latest sneak peek where you find out that Krypto doesn't care about anything. They've always said that Krypto, in the modern comics, is he's a bad dog. Which is not a real thing.
Yeah.
But the fact that he shows up when he's supposed to be saving Clark, and he wants to play.
And he's bouncing
on his
stuff.
stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude.
I was going to call
my dog 100%.
I was going to ask Brandon if you were in that scene.
Okay. Well, we'll continue when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Well done. Here come the test results. You are a horrible person. That's what it says. A horrible person. We weren't even testing for that.
Well, Allan, we weren't expecting anything different. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we're talking superheroes and superhero movies today. I just want to say one thing. I was saying that in terms of vibes, Allan's been using the word vibes a lot, and Brandon's been using the word tonal shift. I would love to see, if we're talking about the character of Batman, something where Batman is treated a little bit more of like a fantasy character. And the closest I've seen to it in recent years, although this is probably still 10 or 15 years ago, there was it was like a bunch of animated shorts that it was an anime version of Batman. There was about 6 or 7 different
Batman
shorts.
Gotham
Knight, which was outstanding. There were a couple of ones in there that I think would be a good jumping off point for a live action Batman. But anyway.
I think it'd be interesting to see a Batman 2 where it's like a Arkham Asylum, a serious house on serious Earth, because it's Batman, but it's veiled.
Oh,
you don't really see Batman at all.
I wonder if they could ever pull that off. I'd be happy to do that in animated form. I don't think that should. Yeah. I would definfinely wouldn't do that live action. It would take away from
honestly,
it. Honestly,
again, we and I know we tend to go back and we're like, the cultural differences, and the fact that anime can pretty much convey any kind of genre and without losing, any of its seriousness. We need a bigger showing in America that we can take an animated feature seriously.
Oh yeah.
And they're not all. I mean, because even the most ridiculous ones tend to have a serious message when it's all said and done, like with Lilo and Stitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think if we could just get past that, we would see more serious tonal, anime type movies like a Batman that actually hits the noir perfectly.
Right. So that's the challenge out there. I would like to see more animated anyway. You can do more. You can convey, and you're not restricted by budgets in terms of what you can draw. I mean, you can make pretty much anything. But I just want to vent. So you guys, we talked about it a couple weeks ago on our anniversary show about how we always try to stay positive and not dwell in the in the mud and everything. But so I just want to get this out of my system, and I'll probably never mention it again. But okay, for one thing, I thought we were going to get 13 episodes of Daredevil Born Again. I didn't know this was I didn't even know this was the last episode of the season until you just told me a minute ago. So
I'm going to say something, Joe, and I don't mean this in any kind of negative way.
Yeah,
it's because you're not chronically online.
Right. Well, but my other thing was, okay, all the Netflix seasons were 13 episodes. I thought they were going to just continue that. And plus, the way they left it, I thought, oh, well, okay, I wonder what's going to happen next week. But,
I mean,
whatever. It's a cliffhanger that they're setting up, a Punisher show?
Yeah, there's a Punisher special that'll be kind of like that Werewolf by Night, but it'll probably be closer to feature length than that was. Not necessarily a full 2.5 hour Marvel movie, but, something that's probably about maybe an hour and 15 minutes.
Well,
way movies used to be.
I've been watching this show with my wife because she's a fan of the old one, and she could care less about superhero stuff. She's more interested in if there's like we said, like with Winter Soldier, it's a spy movie that's also a superhero. Well, she liked the street level kind of crime drama that was the first 3 seasons of Daredevil, but she was almost laughing through this one. It was so obnoxiously violent.
Yeah,
it was almost like a Lobo kind of violence from and then. I guess we can give a spoiler here, folks. Kingpin basically takes this guy and crushes his head with his bare hands, which, to me, if I was making that sequence, I would have just I wouldn't have shown it. I would have let you hear the sound of it or something. Right. But they showed it in all its glory, and it was almost just like some B-movie horror movie.
It makes me think.
Know.
It makes me think
it
of
was
the
dumb.
Makes me think of the contrast of what you were saying about the Max series with the Penguin, where it's like it was almost just as horrifying just hearing a knock and not hearing a knock.
Yeah, they nailed it. I think the way they did, but I don't know.
I mean, I'm not gonna weigh in on the Penguin because
you have a different opinion than we do. I think
it's enjoyable. And it's amazing what Colin Farrell did, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, now that they've they've even come back out and they've said no, we're not doing a second season. If Max wants one, but we're not. We have no intentions of doing it. Blah blah blah. And no, they don't intend for Oz to show up in the Batman 2. And right now, it doesn't even. There's even the possibility that if they keep postponing it, Matt Reeves may not even be doing the Batman 2. It will be made, but by a different director. So,
well, it's been dragging out for a while. So yeah,
and it's between personal issues and actors going ahead and saying nope, I'm going to be in Dune Messiah instead. You've got a lot going on.
It's fine with me. I don't need a sequel to every good movie. I love that movie. If it was left alone, I would not complain.
It should be left alone.
But so you don't. Well, I mean. What do you guys think of Born Again? I guess, am I the only one that wasn't satisfied?
Yes, you and a bunch of comic nerds online.
I just thought there was some, like I said, there were sequences where they padded the runtime. They threw, to me, it was a whole thing of like teasing what's coming rather than focusing on what's going on. I don't know.
You also had 2 different crews.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's right, because there was reshoots,
you were... there were issues, and it showed up on the show very easily.
Now that you say that, that makes perfect sense, because some episodes you thought, wow, this is cool, and it had a vibe, like you say. The other one had a completely different vibe, and it seemed like they were shoehorning in advertisements for what's coming. Like
the original filming, the stuff that happens with Foggy happened off screen, but before the show ever starts. You don't get any flashbacks. Neither Karen Page nor Eldon Hintz or Foggy were going to be in it. The actors and actresses were not brought in. It wasn't until the focus group was like, well, we need something. And they're like, oh, okay, we got to fix this.
Karen Page doesn't fix it for me. I mean, I'm sorry, but
well, no, but here's the question: did you watch Punisher?
No, I got it was too violent for me. Anyway, we got to go, you guys. We'll continue spewing the hate next week. But until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Ellen Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
And I am Brandon Olmsted, teasing you with some new MCFC stuff coming up in the following weeks.
Nice.